Hey drivers, how you doing? Papa Joe here. I want to address, talk about, give my opinions and thoughts on something that has baffled part of the industry for years. Why do the drivers leave a company? Now they try to holler there's a driver shortage. There's not. If there is, there don't need to be. So many companies in the industry have, the companies have driven drivers away from their company. The multitude of companies have put a bad taste in drivers' mouths. And as an industry, they've drove drivers away, just flat out of the industry. Ain't no need for it. These companies make enough money that they sponsor racing teams, build their own trucks to do Pikes Peak. They have millions, if not trillions of dollars in excess every year. They build these nice office buildings. They do elaborate recruiting. They hire some of the best liars that they can to do their recruiting for them. And then they don't hold up to their word. Huh. Wonder if that might have something to do with drivers leaving your company. Now back when I started, and mind you, this is all my opinion. I have no statistics, nothing to prove anything's fact or fiction. Just my opinion. Back when I started, we had some pretty lousy equipment out here. I mean, some of it was bad. That'd run a driver off. That's also, despite what some of these youngins think about why we've got the laws and the DOT regulations and stuff we have, because it must be you old truck drivers. Did any of y'all read that on that one deal where they should pull the license of any driver over 60 years old because we are dangerous and we're the cause of all the regulations? Gotcha, Mr. Clueless. The companies forcing drivers back then to run illegal with trashy equipment. That was a big cause for a lot of drivers to leave back then. That's also the cause of a lot of your regulations you have today, not the drivers. One of my pet peeves is when I'd get DOT'd back in them days, and a lot of these little pull-offs that you guys see now that there's nobody there and you never see anyone there, they used to be there randomly, and they'd have a field day. And if you had something, let's say a light, well, a light's not a good example, but we're gonna go with it anyway. Let's say you got a light out, and I told the company about it, officer, and they wouldn't fix it. Their response was always the same. Why'd you leave with it? It's your responsibility, driver. Really? Well, if I'm told I either go with it or go find another truck. Well, driver, you need to find a better company. Really? And that was their whole attitude. As if you got so much money you didn't have to worry about bringing in a paycheck. And you could afford to just tell this guy to kiss your butt over this light or whatever and spend a week or two getting another job. Gotcha. So, bad equipment, bad dispatching. But like I said, they would force us. I mean, every damn load was hot. Everyone got to be there yesterday. Some of y'all remember them days. And you live in Atlanta, and you tell them, I want to go home. I'm ready to go buy the house. I've been out 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever. And sometimes they drug that out into months. And instead of getting you a load going towards Atlanta, you're staying up north, running the I-90, I-94 corridor. Don't get nowhere close to the house. Get within a few hundred miles, and all of a sudden you turned around going the other way. No bad dispatching. That didn't help. The other thing that used to drive me crazy, and a lot of other drivers, which still goes on today, you're talking to safety. Safety telling, don't let them push you. Don't let them do this, do that, do something else. Don't do it. Well, then when dispatch tries doing it, and you talk to safety, oh no, that's between you and dispatch. Really? Throw you under the bus with dispatcher. They ain't got your back. No department in there does. Well, why do drivers leave today? We made decent money back then. Most of us did. So I can't say it was the money back then. So why are drivers leaving today? Majority of the companies have got a lot better equipment. That's why you're not seeing DOT out there like you used to. That's why you're not seeing the scale houses open like they used to be. It's really not because you modern day truck drivers came out here and you know how to truck and we didn't. I know you like to believe that, but that ain't the truth. The truth is, with the regulations and the fines, we started getting better trucks. If you walk around in this truck stop right now, there's probably 100 trucks in here, I'm guessing. I'll bet you'll find 2 old trucks that's really old that you look in and say, damn, I wonder how he passed inspection. Equipment's got a lot better. They've been pushing us on the logs for several years. And now with that ELD over there, it's hard for them to push you to be illegal. And now if they do, they're in deep doo-doo. And there's been some companies caught at doing that. One of them was one of the major mail carriers. They was busted just here, 6 months ago or something. I don't know. I lose track of time. Maybe it was a year ago. I don't know. They got busted big time. And it ain't that the DOT comes in and asks one driver. They come in and they interview all the drivers. They go through all the records and they find out the truth. They know what they're doing, believe it or not. They've got a clue. They've done enough of it. It ain't their first rodeo either. So it's probably not equipment for most people. Speed of the truck, now that could be one. There's some companies out here that's got these big old hiring signs on the back of their trailers. And as I pass them, like they're standing still, I say, if I pass you like that, I don't want to drive for your company. That could be a factor. The whole thing about 1 day for 7 out, 1 day off for 7 out, I've had a problem with that for years. Why is it the people in the office get 2 days a week off, but truck driver gets 1? That bothers me. And that's a general rule out here in trucking. 1 day off or 7 worked, or some companies 6 worked. Why? Why can't I get 2? Look at it in a 4-week month. You get 8 days off. I get half that many off. I'm the one out here doing the work away from the house. You go home every night. I sleep in this truck. But you get twice the time off on weekends. We ain't even talking about weeknights. Going home every night. We ain't even talking about that. Just regular full days off. Huh. Who came up with that rule? And why did everybody adopt it? Communications? Maybe that's one of them. I've got a young man, guilty something. I forget what. Let me see if I can come up with his name. Y'all go check him out. He got a lot of subscribers too. He just did watched one of my videos and he shared it. Thank you. Let's see here. Give me a second. Well, that ain't it. Well, it ain't showing up for me now. Now that aggravates me when I can't find something. He would drive for CR England. And he got kind of frustrated at him about communication. Y'all already know I'm big on communication. Let's see here. Maybe it'll come up under this one. Yep, Guilty 718. Go check him out. Now his language is kind of rough. I'll tell you that now. So if you got tender ears, you might not want to check him out. He sounds like a city boy. And but I watched a couple of his different videos. And like I said, I'm not that crazy about his language. Y'all already know I try not to cuss. I do it once in a while. But he's giving you the trucking videos. He's got a wide spectrum of videos he does. He's giving you his views of trucking his way. And he was having communication problems with his dispatch. And he just got frustrated and said, to hell with it. Can't say I blame him. I'm dealing with some communication problems right now my own self. Very aggravating. So communication on the part of the company, and I understand that dispatchers have a whole lot, depending upon the company, on how many drivers they take care of. If you can't communicate properly with each and every one of your drivers, maybe your company needs to cut back on the load per dispatcher. Fleet manager, driver manager, whatever your company calls them, they're still a dispatcher. They are real big on the truck driver, keeping in communication with them and letting them know what's going on. You got a problem, driver, let me know. If you're going to be late, let me know. I'm not going to respond back to you, but at least you let me know. Really. No, they don't literally say that, but their actions do, right? Not keeping their word. I'm dealing with some of that right now. Can you tell I'm not real happy at the moment? If I tell them that I'm going to make this happen or make that happen, or I'm going to be here and I'm going to be there, They expect me to stick to my word. If I tell them I'll stay out for X amount of time, they expect me to stick to my word. But yeah, when they don't stick to their word, you're supposed to understand. They always have an excuse that's supposed to be acceptable to you. However, you do not have an excuse that's acceptable to them. Maybe that's part of the problem. There's a whole lot of stuff that I ain't even touched on. But my point is, it has always been, and even more so now, always tilted towards the company. Everything is tilted in their favor. If they're not making the profits that they need to make, what do they cut to make the profits go up? It's got to do with you. They'll cut your truck back, make it go slower. They'll put in some initiatives for not idling. Back in the day, they didn't want to, we didn't have APUs or any of that stuff. But yeah, they still wanted you to shut your truck off to sleep. I had a problem with that one too. Me and a fleet manager from JB Hunt, when I drove for them, we had a big discussion over it. Now, he was in Kansas City, and I asked him, I said, is your heater on at your house? Well, yeah. Because he'd been telling me I need to turn my truck off while I was sleeping, when I'd go in a truck stop, go in the ship. Turn it off every chance you can. You have no idea how much money that saves the company. Well, off of one truck, it don't save you a whole hell of a lot. But when you have thousands of trucks, yes, it can. So I asked him, I said, is your heater on at your house? Well, yeah. I said, why? You're at work. You don't need that heater on at home. Well, I want the house comfortable when I get there. I said, guess what? This is my house on wheels. I want it comfortable when I get in it. If I've been out in that cold, walking to wherever, truck stop, shipper, receiver, whatever, when I get in that truck, I want it warm. Or if it's summer, I want it cool. Why can you have your stuff on at the house, but I'm not supposed to have it on at my house? And they never could come up with a good reasoning for that. And he ain't the first one that I put through that drill. Moral of the story is, when they're needing to cut, you're the one getting cut. Something to do with you. Now, it won't have to do with that office. They're going to leave the temperature where it's comfortable, 24/7. But you're not supposed to. They have an excess amount of people up there. Some of them they don't need, because you and I both know some of them are so stupid they can't do a good job, much less any job. But they won't cut them, but they're going to cut out a few trucks, or they're going to cut your mileage, or they're going to cut your pay. Some companies have actually asked drivers to take a cut in pay. Really. I never have, never will. We're talking about pay again. How come these companies can afford to sponsor all this nonsense, live real good, but yet you and I struggle paycheck to paycheck? Oh yeah, there's good weeks and bad weeks. I know there's a few out there that aren't actually living paycheck to paycheck, but the majority is. Huh. I really ain't got a clue why a driver would leave a company. I just can't see a good excuse for it, can you? Lying to you from Jump Street, not keeping their word, not paying you right. This company I'm with, they could pay better. They're paying the national average. And they think it's okay to pay the national average. Why? Are your drivers better than the national average? You want experienced drivers, but you don't want to pay for experienced drivers. Huh. One of the companies I drove for, you had to have like 5 years experience with a good record. But they didn't want to pay up for it. They did okay. They paid better than the national average. But then whenever you need to get off to go see a doctor or whatever, they're whining and crying. And I'm like, wait a minute. And literally had the conversation with the big boss. I said, now you want us experienced drivers, right? Yeah. I said, now what you got to consider is us experienced drivers. We've been beat to death in them trucks for years. We've had to pay to get where we're at. We paid our dues at the cost of our health. And now you want us, because of our experience, but you want to whine about me going and getting my oil changed? Really? You don't have a problem with me having to shut down to get that truck serviced and get its oil changed. That's all part of trucking. And I'm supposed to do it for free, without complaining. But yet when it's time for me to get serviced and get my oil changed, you want to whine and cry? Eli had never looked at it quite like that. I said, imagine that. You're a damn bean counter, and he was. Folks, I've been no sugar added for years. This ain't something just for this YouTube. So why in the world would any driver just up and leave a company? It puzzles me. Don't it puzzle you? There's a lot I ain't saying right now that I could say. Some of you old hands can read between the lines, can't you? Let's see what the future holds. And she got her little, I don't know what them things are, but they got sweaters on, and it's raining. Put raincoats on them. And yes, they make raincoats for dogs. Well, drivers, you new guys out there, I imagine that you're having some frustrations, second thoughts about what you're going through. Let me give you a hint. We've been through it. Very few drivers have started this industry with one company and has stayed there forever. When you do find those, they're usually in the city and in a union. I'm not saying the union or the city jobs are any better or worse than out here. I am saying that if you're a homebody and that's your cup of tea, then more power to you. There's some of us that to us, that ain't trucking. I have no desire to be in a city truck and running groceries up and down the stairs and keeping you fit. In some places you get free food. Somebody made a comment on one of my videos a while back and told me that. I've been doing this for 26 years, I think, with Cisco. And running that food up and down them stairs keeps you in shape. Keeps your ass in shape is what he said. In some places you even get free food. And I'm home every night and every weekend. I'm proud of you, if that's your cup of tea. That ain't my cup of tea. And I've told y'all many a time that you have to find your mark out here. You have to find what you want to do out here. What's good for me ain't good for you. This company I'm with, it might be the perfect fit for you. The things that are really starting to bother me right now might not bother you at all. But they're driving me nuts. Where you're at, you're getting ready to leave or thinking about leaving, what's bothering you might not bother me at all. It's like, all right, that's cool. That's part of trucking. So you can't judge my job and my company by my feelings. And too many try to do that on YouTube and everything else. Well, what does Papa Joe think about this company? Well, chances are Papa Joe don't think about that company. Papa Joe thinks about the company that Papa Joe's with. Now, when you ask me if I've heard about one of them companies, I'll tell you. If I've been with one of them companies, I'll tell you. But I think about this company, and then at times I think about the next company. I've always said I'm always looking. Guess what? I'm looking. Been here 3 or 4 years now. I'd have to ask Grandma. And since day one, always had that ear perked. Always looking for that greener grass. Now I've got enough experience which some of y'all are going to have to gain to realize that the majority of that greener grass, it ain't so damn green, it's turning brown quick. So I don't make hasty decisions. No, but I'm always listening. I'm always waiting. And this is the third company that started out damn good coming out the gate. I thought I would retire with them. Third one that I said, I'll probably retire with this company. And then they have to start changing. Implementing new rules and changing this and changing that. Trying to be the big company. Well, there's a reason those big companies have such a high turnover rate. There's a reason them big companies don't have all of us old dogs on there. It ain't our cup of tea. I don't want to be micromanaged. I don't want to be a truck number. That ain't me at all. I want a company that'll give me a truck, give me my load, pay me what they tell me they'll pay me, give me home when they say they'll give me home, take care of your equipment when I tell you it's breaking down, and let me truck. It's what I do, whether I like it or not. It's what I do. And I got a clue on what I'm doing. I don't need somebody that's only been in trucking 2 or 3 years and never been in a truck, just in an office, micromanaging me. And no, I don't have that happening here. I don't. I have been in that situation, and it don't last long. A lot of truck companies don't like me. I don't know why. Maybe I should learn to be a little more tender. Huh. Maybe they ought to learn to be a little tougher. It is trucking, and it ain't for sissies. Alright, I've rambled on enough. Y'all remember, God loves you, so do I. These companies, they're a piece of equipment. You're an unnecessary evil. I don't care what they tell you. You are. They have to tolerate you. Why do you think they're trying to come out with manless trucks? Y'all have a blessed day now.